Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
You said, I think previously, that they lost their blueprint midway through the season. Now that the finality has come in, what could they have done to perhaps just hold their season while it was falling away?
Well, what I meant by losing their blueprint is they obviously started the season well, and they trusted people, and then they panicked when they started to lose. Therefore, that's when the blueprint went out the window, and they looked at Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, and that's when we saw the musical chairs happening within their playing 11, and even their 12, because their impact sub sometimes was a bit, puzzling the way they went about that. So it was nearly like, they were searching for something because they didn't trust what they originally thought was going to work in getting them into finals in the IPL. And that can be down to inexperience around, around the group, the playing group and the management group, or, maybe there's things inside in that dressing room that we're not sort of hearing or understanding.
Anything to add on Delhi here, whether they missed more calm, more experience? It's not like they're short on experience. KL Rahul's mighty experienced player. Faf is there. Akshar in his first year as captain. Did they miss perhaps more Indian experience? The rest of that team is a lot of uncapped players, or a lot of players that necessarily aren't India internationals anymore.
I think the selection was very puzzling to me, and the placement of players. Also, sometimes, even if you're not getting dropped and you're seeing people getting moved up and down the order, getting dropped after one performance, like Nattu had one game, then got dropped, that just sends a bit of panic amongst the others, especially the more inexperienced Indian players who want that comfort from the coach to be like, your place is secure, we're going to give you a long run. But even if the coach is saying it and the other guys are getting dropped, you're like, if I have one bad game, I might just get dropped here. So you just want that kind of calm and ease around the team, and also keep your players happy throughout the season. And again, I really feel they underutilized Vipraj Nigam, because he was one of the standout players with the bat and with the ball in the beginning of the season. And suddenly today, he becomes their main bowler and their main batsman. He bats number 4 and then he bowls his 4 for under 30. So when you have somebody that talented, you just not made enough use of him.
Now I go back to your point earlier on. The minute it started going off, they had to make one or two key decisions that perhaps would have fixed the issues rather than domino effect the rest of the team. And that was KL opening, you're still saying right now. Had they done something small, maybe the rest of the ship would have been steady. But instead, they kept pulling out pieces from other places, and there were too many holes in the end.
For sure. I've been saying this. I think maybe we had on my last show, maybe 2 weeks ago, that KL should have opened from the word get-go. Or if he wasn't opening, if they were going to make changes, the first person they should have gotten in that place was KL Rahul. So I feel that was a big miss by them. And then at the end of the day, Delhi have had a history of having a really good front end and then blowing out towards the back, and that's history.
But these are so many new players. Hardly, many of them may not have even had this baggage. I really am finding it hard to believe how a team with so much momentum and so much adrenaline at the start of the season. Remember their first game against Lucknow, the way they started.
Well, true. I just want to add something about KL Rahul. He's their best batter.
Yeah.
By a long way in that side.
Yep.
And if he's saying, I'd like to open, surely you afford him that and you build your side around that, because he's your best player.
Mitchell Starc not returning. I wonder how big a blow that is. Yes, there's a story for every franchise, like you rightly say, but for this franchise, knowing what the challenge was, GT, MI, Punjab, 3 co-playoff contenders, and not having him.
I think players like Mitchell Starc that have that sort of stature carry more than just the performance they put on the field. They give confidence to a group, because you look around the dressing room, you see, whether it's a Bumrah in the dressing room or a Mitchell Starc in the dressing room, regardless of whether their return is what you would hope, it gives the group confidence, because they know they've got a bit of X factor and some serious experience. So, and a lot of these young players have grown up watching the likes of Mitchell Starc, in a lot of the test series against India and the World Cups that Australia have played and so on and so forth. So you suddenly remove that, that big presence from the dressing room. You're looking around and thinking, okay, who's going to fill those shoes?